Good morning. My name is Billy with Coach Dooley's List, and we are here today with Coach Shon Thomaston at Carrollton High School. Coach, we appreciate you having us on, taking the time before
Yes,
you
sir.
head up to the GBCA event up at Lake Point today, right?
Lake Point today.
Awesome. Well, we'll get through this and get you on your way, and hopefully you'll have a good time today. So we always start by asking coaches, you've told me, but tell us a little bit about your coaching journey, how long you've been here at Carrollton, and
Okay.
how you got here.
Oh no, that's easy. First of all, I am, considered to be a Carrolltonian. Because
Okay.
I'm born and raised here. Actually, all my grade school, high school, everything, I went to Carrollton.
Awesome.
I'm a 1991 graduate of Carrollton High School, proud graduate of Carrollton High School, and went to Bruton Parker College on a basketball scholarship. Played there 4 years. And after graduating from there, came right back here and immediately started working. My first coaching job was being a middle school girls basketball coach at Carrollton Junior High School. I did that for 3 years, and fortunately for me, we had a coaching change. Nothing bad. We had our coach at the time elevated into administration,
Right.
and recommended me to be the varsity coach here after 3 successful years as a middle school coach, and been here ever since.
That's awesome.
So I would say I started coaching varsity here in 1998, and now it's 2025, and we still going strong. So, a lot of people, if you ask them this question, they're going to tell you this stop, that stop, another stop. We've never stopped. We started here and just never stopped. And this place is great. I've always worked for good people here. The resources, the support, the community, the kids, like athletics is huge here, as well as academics and arts. Just a well-rounded place to develop well-rounded, individuals. So, just a place that I've started and never wanted to leave.
That's really awesome, and I actually started off the same place where I went to school, and life gets
We're
changes
rare.
and that kind of stuff.
We are rare.
Oh yeah, no, and I absolutely love that. Like, you definitely don't have it. Like you said, everybody always has a couple stops, and then God will redirect you sometimes
Right.
and put you in other places. But
That's
He
right.
said you are here. So now I have to ask. I didn't kind of send this to you before.
Okay.
Anytime you coach at a place for a while or you've been here, okay, how many little sisters, little brothers, or kids are you now in the part where you're coaching kids of people you coached?
I am. Yes. It's funny you asked me that because we talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
I've coached some second generation kids, and
Are you getting close to third?
yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, getting close to third. And if I think about it long enough, I probably have already had a third.
At least in class or something.
That's exactly right. But this is a close-knit community, and it's a proud community. So people look forward to sending their kids and grandkids to the school.
Yeah.
And then there's community support when it comes to the athletic events. Like for instance, on Friday night, the town shuts down because everybody's at the football game. And we're still working on getting the basketball games that way. We have really, really good fan support. So, if anytime people need something to do, they can always go to a ball game.
Right.
And they come, and the support is crazy, and everybody wants to see their children, grandchildren, and cousins, want to see them compete and cheer them on.
That's awesome. So with all the people coming to the games and stuff, and you've obviously got your system in place, and I know that sometimes can be changed. What do you want the Carrollton basketball program to be known for?
Playing the game the right way, doing it with integrity, being an outlet for people that, may need to be uplifted, because we play a brand of ball that I feel like is very exciting, that makes even the person who is the most reserved stand up and cheer and clap and do things like that. It's just the way we approach the way we work. And we just want to continue to be a shining light on this community and give people something to be proud of.
I love it. And like you said, if you're playing hard and it's fun to watch, it's
That's
easier to come, and it's easier to get younger fans, to get excited about
sure.
things, which is awesome. So with and again, being here for such a long time, and I know you probably have a lot of them, but what is one of your favorite coaches' stories? Either something that makes you smile, makes you laugh, just over the years.
If you ask the regular fan or the casual observer, they probably think that my most memorable moment or the story that I would like to share would be winning the state championship, but that's not it. The story that I probably would rather share is, and it happened just recently. One of my players was the valedictorian of our school.
That's awesome.
This graduating class, this class valedictorian was one of my players. A young lady named Deja Preston. And I promote her as often as I can, because it's not often that as a coach that you have an athlete that's able to be valedictorian, just because of the demands that we place on them as athletes.
Absolutely.
For instance, if you're playing a sport here, you trying to be great at it.
Yep. And
a lot of times when you put so much into being an athlete, something has to suffer. And a lot of times academics kind of, not take a back seat, but you being a valedictorian, you have to give a lot in the classroom.
Oh, yeah.
So to have a kid that was able to find that balance and to be able to give not only to the academics, but also to the athletics. She's going to Virginia Commonwealth.
Oh, wow.
Yes. She's got a basketball scholarship to Virginia Commonwealth. Awesome. She was an all-state performer. She played in the Georgia high school all-star game. So you're talking about not just a basketball player, but you're talking about an elite kid that's also elite in the classroom.
Right.
And so honestly, that's probably the most proud moment for me, just being able to say that I had an athlete that, was the top academic kid in the school. And then I also still had a kid that was ranked number 13 in the class and had a kid ranked number 20 in the class. That's awesome. We really pushed the academic.
Y'all could have won the academic ball.
Well, and I tell you what, if there was one to be competed for, we were going for it.
That's awesome.
We really believe in the whole kid. Not just the athletic side of it. We believe in doing things right. We believe in walking the walk and talking the talk. And part of that is also setting an example for younger kids that are coming behind them. And they take pride. My kids take pride in that. Yeah. But at the same time, I think winning is a byproduct of doing everything else the right way.
Yes.
And that's what we try to teach.
I agree. I've had a lot of smart kids too in the past. I think the highest I ever had was 4th. And okay. I do remember, because we were going to a playoff game one time, and it was my first year at North Oconee. I remember she came to me and she had all AP classes.
Yes.
She said, Coach, we're going to Fannin County. And she goes, Coach, I've got 2 APs this morning I really need to be at. Can I go to class and have my dad come to the game? I looked at my watch and I looked at her. I said, I need you to get on the bus.
That's right.
We got a game.
Right.
And so she was in her head, she was planning on getting there 15 minutes before the game and that kind of stuff. And but you love those stories because, again, sports is going to end at some point.
It's going to stop.
For everybody.
That's right.
And so that's really cool. And especially, like I said, the successes. And, state championships are great.
That's right.
But all those little core memories, and I'm sure you've got tons of them. I'll have to come back and do part two and just do stories.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is, in doing this for as long as you've been doing it, if you had somebody come to you today and say, hey, I want to be a head coach.
Yes.
What's 1 or 2 pieces of advice that you would give to them before they just hopped into it?
One of the first things I would tell them is to, number one, just make sure you're not doing it for money, because this is the one profession where if you're not doing it professionally or collegiately at the highest level, like financially, you're not going to become rich doing this, and you'll become rich in other ways, just not financially.
I love the way you just said.
Then I'll also say, love to do it and do it for the love. Because sometimes this is a thankless position, and you can't do it looking for thanks. You do it thanking people. Yes. And I've always tried to be that way. I didn't start that way. I think wisdom comes as you go. You learn, you mess up a lot, you make mistakes, and you learn from them. The people that learn from them, they get to continue to do it. The people that don't, they end up having to find something else to do. But I would just say, number one, you need to have a passion for it, because if you don't, this game will eat you up. And if the game doesn't eat you up, the parents will eat you up. and I'm driven by just wanting to be great,
Right.
not just with wins and losses, but great at producing the best kids, having a program that's well respected, and putting a product out there that people can gravitate towards, and once again goes back to what we talked about in the beginning, just uplifting. And I think that's what we've been able to do, which is why we've had the longevity that we've had here.
I love that. And for young people watching, or even coaches watching, I say this, you said exactly what I've said a couple times about it is a thankless job.
Yes.
And I try to tell, kids in high school or, that graduated, call your coaches and tell them what they mean to you. Doesn't matter if you're 45 years old.
That's right.
If they pop into your head and you remember something positive from those times, find them on Facebook, text them if you still got their number, and let them know, because as tough as it is coaching, like you said, you get in the grind of the season, and there are times where it's very lonely.
Yes.
And you feel like everybody's against you.
Yes.
You get home, and then, the people at home support you. And
that's
sometimes it feels like that's all that is.
Right. That's right.
And those texts that you get, and I know you've gotten them, just from others, just to say thank you.
Yes.
So everybody watching, if you have ever played sports, or even you've all went to school, if you have that teacher or coach that meant something to you, find them, let them know how much that meant, because it is very tough.
That's right.
So that's a lot of good words right there, Coach.
Yes,
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
So, one of the big ideas with Coach Dooley's list is trying to make coaches' lives easier the best I can.
Yes.
Or the best we can. And, hooking them up with vendors. So,
yes.
Who are 1, 2, 10? Who are some people you've worked with that you would love to shout out to other coaches?
Just off top, I've been working with BSN, that company, for probably the past 8 years or so. And I've gone through many different reps, trying to find what works for me and what works for us. And a guy by the name of Taylor Maliphant has he's been great to work with. Awesome. Anytime I have issues and needs or whatever, he's always just a phone call away, and he always makes it right. If it's wrong, he makes it right, and if it's right, he keeps it right. When you find somebody like that with different companies, you want to keep that relationship going,
for sure. And
I've been able to enjoy a really great relationship with BSN and Taylor Maliphant, and also we have a local company, Ozier Sporting Goods, that I like to shout out, because a lot of times we sometimes forget the local people that that pour into the community and give back with their businesses. And Ozier's has been really good when it comes to just producing T-shirts and any other type of gear that maybe we want to try something different and not use BSN. We like to also give back locally.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And using Ozier's allows us to do that as well. So those are a couple of companies that I can think of right off the top of my head that have been really, really great in working with not only my program, but our entire school.
Right. No, and that's awesome. And BSN, obviously, everybody knows them, big company, but
that's right.
The local ones, and I'm gonna get their information from you. They're not on the website, but that's how I put them on there. Is if a coach refers them. So for those of you who haven't checked out the website, the new one is up and running. So just go to www.coachdooleysList.com. I've got about 35 more vendors to get added, and we're going to start doing some kind of promotional stuff. I'll be talking with them, interviewing some vendors here in the future, so y'all can learn a little bit more about those that are helping y'all out. So, well, Coach Thomaston, I really do appreciate it. Best of luck today at the tournament and next season. So thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.